Welcome to the Nagual Zone. My name is Anaam. Today I'd like to tackle a question from a user, Gabriel Juarez, who commented on my video, Fact versus Truth. You can go ahead and check out that video. Link is coming up. He says, "Thank you, Anaam, for another spirit-provoking video. It seems as though the warrior remains skeptical about absolutely everything in order to continue to keep his/her awareness clean and untethered to any scientific explanation or dogmatic convictions." Would you agree? Absolutely. Yeah, that was the whole point of that video. That video deals with how the machine mind, only machines think in terms of facts. Animals don't. Think about that for a minute. Think about it. No animal lives in a world of facts. Only the machine mind that we are all infected with lives in the world of facts. And that video breaks that whole thing down, so I won't go into that. But I absolutely agree. The world of the Toltec warrior is very, very similar to the world of the frog or the salmon, the wild tuna, the world of the Alaskan polar bear, the world of the butterfly, the world of the moth. The Toltec world is not even closely similar, related, not even in the same, forget about the ballpark, it's not even on the same planet as every single thing that you think is the world. That's a very, very strong statement, bold statement. And you know what? Let me back this up with Carlos Castaneda's own experiences. If you read his books, which are his accounts, his main struggle for decades and decades was to attempt to make the jump from his world, which was the world of the machine mind, given to him from the moment he was born, and a very limited world of facts and dogmas and miniature religions, right? Into Don Juan's world, which was a feral world, a world of chaos, a world where no facts made any sense whatsoever. There was no way to make any sense of Don Juan's world. This was his main struggle. That's how hard, and Castaneda was a genius. I really do believe that. That's how hard, if it's that hard for him, imagine how hard it can be for the average person, right? Now, I don't want to paint him as some kind of incredible, special godlike figure, because he wasn't. However, the man was a genius, right? He was very good at what he did. At the very least, he was a successful author of his time and continued to be a best-selling author for decades of his life. He was a millionaire when millions actually meant something. Very high achiever. So it's not good to outright dismiss someone like that, because that's a very, very powerful person. Now, Gabriel goes on to ask a very interesting question. During the progression of the warrior, when does one develop the skills required to discern omens, or quote unquote winks from the universe, as I believe you referenced them before? Yeah. I witness unique quote unquote occurrences throughout the day, mostly when I remember to engage my presence, absolutely, but realize that I lack training to interpret these energies. So in the meantime, I enjoy them for what they are. Thankfully, my path with heart requires me to be outside every day. And so a few examples of these encounters are the way a tree whispers while the wind passes through it, or hawks screaming to one another in the sky. Thank you for providing your continuous insight. Looking forward to your response. Now here, it is very, very important to realize that you kind of answered your own question, but I'll break it down for you anyway. Consider this. There are twins born to a human mother. Through some circumstances, one of those twins ends up in a forest, left there, and is reared by wolves. Grows up feral, knows nothing of civilization, quote unquote, and has that life. The other twin is born in the city, is adopted by educated, quote unquote again, parents, and is given quote unquote education, or in the Toltec world, the more accurate word would be indoctrination, is brainwashed and indoctrinated in due process, factory preset, install the software, latest update of whatever software, Windows or iOS, that is being used for humans at that time. And off that robot, off it goes out into the world to try and function in some manner of efficiency. Which one of them do you think will have an intuitive grasp of the language of the universe? You see? Which one of them will have an intuitive grasp, an understanding of these cosmic winks, will understand what type of rustling is going on in the leaves and how to interpret that? In the Toltec world, that feral individual is much closer to the Toltec path than that city-bred good boy. Now, that city-bred person can go on to become a criminal, a very nice citizen, ideal citizen, have positions, become a celebrity, become a judge or a politician or a window cleaner, whatever the hell. It doesn't matter. They are plugged into a particular kind of matrix, and I call it the machine mind. Whereas that feral kid is unplugged. It is still unspoiled, and it understands the very basic language of existence. The point being that you are all of us are born knowing this language, knowing about cosmic winks. The tragedy for the average man is that knowledge that we are born with, if it was left alone, you wouldn't even need to ask this question because you would know that language. It's a language. These are not cosmic winks. These are not isolated little things. Life, existence is constantly yammering at you. Blah 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 blah, constantly yammering at you. It's constantly speaking to you all the time. But our indoctrinated machine minds are so far away from that language. It is like that we do not understand it at all. Most average people, the average man, doesn't even know that that language even exists. 99% of the average people. Some of us who do realize that it exists, there is something out of the ordinary, get these little glimpses. And that's about as far as it goes for most of us. The Toltec warrior is the only person I know of, the only path or people I know of, who specifically look out and train themselves to go back to their remembering. What is that indication? What is it telling me? This language is not a language of words. The machine mind's indoctrination is the indoctrination of words. The language of existence, words, it doesn't words are meaningless. You know, it's a separate reality. You must learn to track that language. It's a language of tracking, just like a hunter. The deer doesn't leave words behind in the forest, right? For the hunter, I am here. It doesn't scratch freaking words on the ground. I was here. It's ludicrous. The deer leaves footprints. The hunter, ask any tracker. They will tell you the forest has a language. They will clearly say that. The forest has a language, and it is a language that is completely devoid of words. It is a language of existence itself, of the comings and goings of life. And we must learn to recognize that language. It is like learning any language. Here, where Gabriel is at, it's like there is a recognition that, for example, if I want to learn Chinese, I may have come across a few words of Chinese, and I can recognize them when a Chinese person says those words. I kind of recognize, oh, yeah, they spoke that word in Chinese. I recognize it. It's the same. Cosmic winks are like the most sort of, you know, um, tragically pathetic recognition of a vast language, of the incredible, rich, experiential language of existence. And we know a few words, hello, hi, bye bye, and we end up recognizing them as cosmic wings, the, you know, as you said, the hawks in the sky or the rustling of the leaves. So I want to get you to understand how far removed the psyche is that must ask a question like that. Now, that's not just a thing against the user Gabriel. It's not that. It's all of us. That is how far removed we are strategically made to be by the machine mind, and how natural it actually is for our bodies to recognize and understand the language of existence. That is what I'm trying to say. So how do you go about learning existence? Maybe, isn't it surprising that there's not even a word in human language for the language of life? We have Chinese, we have Sanskrit, we have Latin, we have words for all these ones, but there's no word for the language of life. That is how impoverished we are at the understanding of our own existence. That is the tragedy, the supreme tragedy of the average man. As warriors, we are very fortunate, because if you come across a good benefactor, they will make sure that you start on that path of understanding how life is speaking to you, and it ain't in words. It ain't in words, boy. It ain't in words. Yeah. So get that, it is very interesting to read comments from people on the channel, because what I see, all I see is evidence of indoctrinations. Of course, there are really genuine seekers who are asking genuine questions, like Gabriel's question here. Fantastic question, and thank you for asking that and taking the trouble to put it down in the comments, and I appreciate that. There's a lot of mindiness in trying to understand the Toltec path. I see this all the time. You go to some Facebook forums, or you go to groups, you go to Reddit or whatever, there are places. I don't tend to, but sometimes I bump across these things, and they are just full of freaking PhD theses about something as simple as being present. People are writing like essays, blah, 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 verbal diarrhea over nothing. And all it tells me is that this person is so in the grip of the machine mind, which can only process information in words. And what are words? At the end, I'll tell you what words are. 0 and 1. That's all words are. You can break down all language into zeros and ones, the language of switches, on and off. Morse code is based on zeros and ones. Binary code, which is what all computers run on. It's not possible for computers to run on any other code except zeros and ones. It's the machine language. It's the machine language. Words, whether you're expressing love to someone or telling your kid how much you love them and you're feeling it, and you're writing poems or writing songs, all words are machine language. To get out of the tyranny of words that has been imposed upon you, you must learn, if you are interested, the language that is not based on words. Now, the language of sound and the language of words is two very different things. For example, I'll give you an example. In Vedic system, Bharatiya Vedic system, you may be familiar with Bij mantras. Bij means seed or basic, the root, Bij. And mantras is obviously mantra. Nothing called the word mantras exists. That's anglicizing and cheapening a word that is much more expressive than that. So Bij mantra. Bij mantra have no meaning for the mind. For example, the Bij mantra for creativity is Aang. Aang. The Bij mantra for abundance, prosperity, or resourcefulness. Do you know what it is? Shring. Shring. That's the sound. Now, we all are familiar with which one? Om. Om. We're familiar with that sound, right? It doesn't have a meaning. So Vedic, Bharatiya Vedas, they recognize that the language of sound, and it is acknowledged. Any scholar of Bharatiya Vedas and the science of sound, Vedic sound, will acknowledge that Bij mantras are the most powerful sounds that a human throat can make. It's an acknowledged fact. There's not a debate. You can say the same thing in Latin or English or whatever, and you can say the same thing as a Bij. You can say something like, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. Or you can say Shring, Shring, Shring. How does your body respond? Verify it for yourself. Say, I am rich, I have lots of money. Oh, I am a superstar, I'm a freaking, I don't know, millionaire, the millionaire mindset, and blah, blah, blah. Do all that. Do that for 5 months, 1 hour every day, chant. And then switch for 5 months to just this one word, this one sound. It's not even a word. Shring. And do that for 1 hour every day. And verify for yourself what happens in your life. Now, abundance comes in many forms. With magic like this, sound magic, you're gonna have to be very clear. In fact, the sound itself will clarify things within you. So, exercise, be warned that you're playing with very powerful forces and you're unleashing powerful forces from within yourself. However, it's a very safe, fabulous way. Chanting is incredible, amazing, especially Sanskrit chants. Latin, Gregorian chants, I couldn't care less about them. They are not for me as a Bharatiya. They don't resonate with my genetics. For white people, try it out. it's your heritage, knock yourself out. So, the language of existence. What you have to do first is to empty out your subscriptions. You have been forcefully indentured as a slave to the machine mind and its language. You had no choice in this matter, but now you have a choice. Now you have to empty out, you have to pull the plug, you have to clean the drains in yourself and be able to become an empty vessel so that you can receive the language of existence that your body already knows how to respond. What is the first step towards that? You have got to commit yourself to building, to cultivating a vast reservoir, a vast lake of inner silence within you. Once that inner silence is in place, and it's a process, that inner silence will open up the inner knowledge, the inner knowing. You know this language. You know this language. You will be able to trust yourself. You will be able to trust the intuitive knowing that happens when your inner silence, when you receive life's communication into your inner silence. Because believe me, life is one of the most silent. Existence is silence. It's silent, like that cannot be described. And that silence exists within you. You must learn to come away from your indentured slavery. You've got to do it. Got to do it. Come away from that indentured slavery and come into your inner silence. I'm not talking about a 1 second thing. Oh yeah, I was silent for 1 second today. Or I popped some pills or smoked some joint or some bullshit like that and I'm silent. Or, I took mushrooms, all this nonsensical stuff. Cultivate your inner silence. From there, this language will develop. You will know instantly why that leaf fell, exactly at what point on the ground it fell. Why? If you choose to, what is the meaning of that for you? You will know it. You will know it and it will be accurate. You will know why the sun suddenly came out when you were talking about something or speaking about something or thinking about something. You will know these languages. You will understand the language. You will understand it and you will be able to interpret that effortlessly for your own benefit. So with that, comment below what you think of this video. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this? And if you have any questions that you feel are of benefit to all of us, absolutely ask them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them if I feel they are relevant. Walk in freedom. Stay connected. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.